What's up, everybody? It's Heat Override, and I'm ready to bring the pain for you and Dr. Roto this week. If you haven't been to the website, we got articles dropping like we always do. Waiver wires tomorrow. I can't even fathom what happened to Jonathan Taylor. I will get into that at the end of this, even though it's a hard hits and cool picks IDP podcast. I'm still going to talk a little bit of seasonal football at the end because this is a seasonal podcast, right? Oh, yeah. Let's get to it. Dig it? I hope everybody had a great week. I had a great week, and then I had some seasonal teams just lose. And man, Sunday, what the heck? I had all the 2 touchdown people right going into the 4 o'clock games, winning hundreds of dollars. I'm like, yeah, we cool. I got a massively great lineup. Then the rest of them games happened. And man, when you know, I only took home like $20. I'm just like, man, sometimes these payouts just doesn't. It's man, I need to play more double ups, but I'm not a double up guy. I'm an IDP guy. Oh yeah, let's go. Woo! All right, let's go to the review of last week. Cody Barton came back. Cody Barton did okay. He got the check mark for us, but could have been a little better. Probably could have helped his team a little better. But what he did is he at least helped his team get blown out. It's just what happens. And Nate Landman. Okay, Nate, you've been solid all year, and he came up short. That's a check mark against me. Gotta think better than that. He'd override. Ooh, yeah. But that it was just another game. Like even sometimes when you get these really crappy teams, and like the Raiders are just crappy and players are quitting, they're just not getting tackles. So sometimes you really gotta think about that. I'm not saying that Nate Landman is quitting or Spillane. It's just there's other teammates and things just he score a touchdown. You don't get a tackle when people score touchdowns, so don't let them score touchdowns, which is happened a lot this season. But at the same sense, man, it is just crazy. Jack Campbell, man, I just thought he would have a better opportunity than this. He's playing on Turkey Day, and even though it was Thanksgiving, he didn't give our lineups any thanks. But again, I didn't have high expectations for him. I set the bar a lot lower than I normally do when I do these things. I'll still take the loss because for linebackers, I want 5 points. And Nate Landman, he got 4. He just needed one more tackle. He had 4 tackles, and he had a stuff, but overall, it just wasn't enough. It was 4.5 points. I could have called that a push or whatnot because it was close enough, but it's a linebacker. You got to be better than that. And even I know that was a loss. Zaire Franklin, not a good week for him. Still cashed, still did it. He gets a check mark. So for the week, I am 2-2, and that puts me at 45-2 for the year. Still not bad. Missed on 7, hit on 40. I don't know any other expert in this industry that has that record at all at what they do. It's just it's almost impossible to find. And that doesn't mean I'm better than anybody. It just means that the players I pick hit. Ooh, yeah. That's why they're the hard hits and cool picks. And that's why no other site got this podcast and no other site got this information and no other site got Mr. Heat Override. Ooh, yeah. Because that's how we bring the pain. Woo! All right. Let's get to the new setup of players. Man, who you going for? Man, I'm going to roll some safeties. Safety? Safeties. I got 2 of them for you and a linebacker. Let's get to it. Alohi Gilman. Man, he's been slowly getting it done. He's been on fire. Of course, he plays for the Chargers. He's got to worry. You got Derwin James back there. He's getting tackles. Murray Jr. is getting tackles. But guy who has stepped it up has been Gilman. Just at 51 tackles for the year, that's pretty good for a safety, especially with all those names around him. But here, he's had 25 in the past 3 games, which that means that he is heating up. He's getting ready. And man, dude, he is just playing lights out. I mean, at this point, he's 4% owned. 4% owned because people go get other players, or maybe they get a defensive end, or maybe they just don't want to go to the Chargers. And when they do, they're always picking Derwin James. Once they go there and they see James is gone, they don't care about anybody else. You should, if you need somebody to fill in, if you got an injury or you just want somebody better or somebody in a good spot, pick Alohi Gilman. He's got your back, right? Let's go over to, I'm going to do my linebacker first. Jeremiah Owusu Koromora. Hey, I got it. Oh, yeah. Man, this dude has been definitely getting gunned. I mean, first of all, 5% owned. 5. You got that? 5. And, man, every single week, it's making me forget about Jacob Phillips. And I love him. He's on my dynasty team. So every week he has been producing. And, I mean, 64 tackles, 2.5 sacks. He just had a sack last time. JOK is doing just okay, if you know what I mean. He is a great pickup. You want to head to Dr. Roto and make sure you read my article for each of these players. It just gives you a little more stats. That's why I don't read them out to you. I don't need to. I want you to go and do the reading. I want you to check out the articles because there's more to that article than just that. I also have the second string on there too. And with the second string, that gives you extra players that you can plug and play that are also lower owned. Sometimes I throw in a higher owned guy, like a 20, 30, but at the same time, it gives you those extra players. Now, before we get into the end of the podcast and I start talking about some crazy stuff, I want to bring up a discussion. And this right here is why you go to Dr. Roto and you get into the Discord right here. So every week, I've talked about it many a times that my chat, I have my own IDP chat now, because with my IDP chat, it keeps the defensive questions out of the offensive side of things. I guess sometimes when it really got into the defensive side of things for people, it was a little overwhelming because me and the guys, Dilla, Primetime Player, everybody else that I haven't mentioned, it's one of those things that when they're talking and we're talking, it takes over the chat completely. So they just go, hey, Rob, you got to get that. Hey, Heat, what's going on? And we do. And that's the fun. And why I bring this up and why I want to remind all of you why Dr. Roto is so amazing at what we do for the website is because we came up with this player. Yes, this player has been highlighted and has been mentioned many times before, but this player right here is the reason why. This player right here represents the good, hard work that not only I do, but the research that our subs do because of the discussions and talks that we have every single day in the Discord to lead up to a player doing this. I'm talking about the next hard-hitting, cool pick, Jonathan Owen. Oh, yeah. Yo. I mean, do I need to start that Jonathan Owens is 6% owned in most leagues? And most of you didn't even know he existed until you were watching the football games, eating some turkey, or maybe waiting for some turkey, and he picked up a fumble and ran it in for a touchdown, right? So how does that happen? How does that discussion happen? Well, this is how that discussion happened. I was asked to pick a few players to start. And a lot of times, I always try to make sure that my people are in good places and that they get like a good base, that their floor is definitely like a 6-7 point day, right? Sometimes my people want to go, hey, let's get crazy, Heat Override. Let's get wild. And that's what Primetime Player did this week. He said, Rob, I really like Owens. And I was on the fence about Owens. And then it happened. It happened that Devondre Campbell was out. And we had already we checked extra stats. And we just said, you know what? Jonathan Owens is in a great position. And this is the discussions that I'm talking about that happen all the time. Hey, if you don't care about that, that's fine. You're our losing friend. But guess what? Our Discord friends are our rich friends. They fight tooth and nail in every single one of their leagues to make sure that they are in the best position. And they give us everything, the waiver wires, they screenshot the waiver wires. I can't even tell you, but once we saw Devondre Campbell was out, I'm like, Prime, play him. And what happened? He picked up that fumble, returned it for a touchdown, He scored my dude 34 defensive points, IDP points in his dynasty league, seasonal league. That is why you go to Dr. Roto, you read these articles, you look at the players we're highlighting and target them yourself. You may not be able to get them, but if you can get them, you could have results like what Jonathan Owens did for prime time player. Oh, yeah. That's how you do it. And hey, that's it. I can't even help with that, dude. I straight love those discussions. I live for those discussions. I was at my Thanksgiving Day party, and I seen that man got a touchdown, and I had nothing but love. I mean, everybody wants to win thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars. I love that. I want our subs to win that. I want to win it. But what feels better than money is knowing that you and somebody you talk to every single week made the right play. And that play resulted in a defensive touchdown. Go check that out, because that's hard to do. And I don't see anybody taking credit. So I will take all the credit for that at drroto.com. My guy, primetime player, pushing me to be a little edgy on that one. I said, dude, let's go. He said, I'm with you, man. And we did it. And that's how we do it. And that's why I want to get over to my seasonal talk real quick. I know that I normally keep these podcasts a little short, but this one, I'm just going to throw it in there. Look, IDP leagues are coming. And they're going to be all over the place. You got to get the best information, and we have that information. I know there's other sites. I know there's other sites that dedicate themselves completely to IDP. And those guys are great, right? But guess what? I'm just me. I don't need anybody else's ideals or numbers or eyeballs to go off of, because I'm watching these games every single week, like I've been talking about every single week, and I see these players playing. And you can't get better stats than looking at a player play, because then you know their nuances. I mean, anybody that's watched football for the last 15, 10, 5, 40 years knows what a great player looks like, and knows what a player that knows how to get in a position looks like. I mean, everybody talks about Mike Allstott sharking all those touchdowns all those years, but he did it. He did it. And you know what? If he only scored 9 or 10, 12 touchdowns in a season, most of those touchdowns came, and it helped those captains back in the day. I just pulled a Mike Allstott on you. And going back to defense, that's how we know. We know because we watch people play better. It's the same reason, and somebody said the other day in our subs-only Discord, why is it always that the second running back in Pittsburgh looks better than the starter? I don't know, but then they end up always going with the second running back in Pittsburgh, and what happens? The second running back still looks better than old second running back. It's just a weird thing. But hey, I know Steeler fans are happy Canada's gone. The offense looked a little better this week, but I think the problem might be Pickett. I think the problem is Pickett. He just doesn't do enough with the ball. But IDP leagues the defensive players are carrying a lot of these teams. I just lost for the first time in quite a few weeks in my dynasty league. I've had massive injuries. My IR included like Jacob Phillips. I've had Chin on the IR for weeks. I've had Chubb on the IR. I've had Aaron Jones on the IR. We can only start 2 to 3 running backs. I haven't had 2 to 3 healthy running backs all year long. I got Jerome Ford out there missing a game, and then Jerome Ford is just it's like Cleveland. Like, okay, Ford's got 8 attempts for 78 yards, 68 yards, or 58 yards. Stop using him, and let's just run Kareem Hunt down their throat. Again, this goes back to what's going on this season. People are seriously overlooking that players are not being used anymore the way that they're supposed to be, other than like Puka Nacua for a minute right there. And then usually the way that Cooper Kupp was used, it was just target after target after target. I mean, Chase has come down. He can't even got a healthy quarterback anymore. And injuries keep piling up, man. And you look at what happened last night with Minnesota and Chicago. I've said it for weeks, and if you listen to this podcast or listen to any of my podcasts, I said the Chicago Bears defense is legit, and then they got Montez Sweat. What more do you want? It doesn't matter that the Bears offense is lost. That defense is a Super Bowl defense. If that defense was in Buffalo, the Buffalo Bills would have 1 to 2 losses and they'd be the best team in the league. Not where they're at right now, but the Steelers beating them out, with the Browns beating them out of the playoffs. This team is supposed to be a Super Bowl contending team. And they constantly let it down. And they let it, what is going on? Okay? And we know that has been addressed. We know that. But this whole season can be summed up in one thing. Injured players constantly going down, changing seasons. Like Jonathan Taylor just now. I almost traded him away. And that would have been a foul trade. But the guy was going to offer me in a one-keeper league a third-round pick for Jonathan Taylor. I wanted a second. Jonathan Taylor's worth more than a third-round pick because I know this guy's team sucked, so he was going to keep Taylor. And I knew that. I kept him. I was asking, he could have kept James Conner. He could have asked for Jerome Ford. I would have gave him that. I'm happy I didn't make that trade because now I have just James Conner and just Jerome Ford because I lost him. And he was just on fire. And he's just been putting up the right points every single week for me. And now I don't have that. I traded for Taylor. Swift. I traded Swift for Taylor. And Taylor has performed better than Swift. So the trade was great. Now I'm stuck at this team that's 6-6, the defending Macho Hichiatos. And I'm just like, okay, I gotta win 2. I need some people to lose and I'll be fine. And I've taken some really close losses and I've had some losses with some injuries just not work out for me, like most of us. And that's okay. Because in the end, whether I win or whether I lose and I don't make the playoffs, I'll still have a good position to pick out of next year, a way better position than picking 14 and at the end of the draft all the time. And I will dominate that position and dominate this league again next year. However, the injuries do happen, and it is very disheartening. It just makes people want to just yank their heart out of their chest when they see multiple. We had a guy, I was talking with one of my oldest leagues, the McDonald League I talk about. I've been in since 1994, and this dude had like 3 people get injured one week, and we were all kind of laughing in our little group chat about it. And he's like, yeah, man, remember a few weeks ago when your whole team went down? And I'm like, yeah, that just sucks for him. But that's why you got places like Dr. Roto. That's why you come to us and we help you because nobody else is going to help you. Your friends are going to help you. They don't care. And if they're in your league, they don't care either. They're not going to help your team. We will help you. We don't care. We want you to bring the pain to the competition. And that's why we want you to slay all of them and slay your leagues and slay your draft. That's how you bring the pain. That's how you do it. Get ready for more articles. You got my heats of the week coming up. You got my heat check on that. You got my macho pick of the week, my contrarian show. Stay tuned because I'm going to tell you this right now. You're going to have it. You're going to have fun. Let's make those playoffs. Get over to Dr. Redo. Use the code DOC for a percentage off of your subscription because right now you ain't got nothing to lose but the playoffs. Let's go in, all people, and let's win it. Ooh, yeah. Woo! Bring the pain. Yeah.